Chris from Benzinga. I'm joined here by Garyvee. We are live at VeeCon 2023. Gary, I want to start with this year's lineup, right? It's a little bit different than last year. We have a lot more chief executive officers and CMOs. Tell me a little bit about the process in picking the speakers for this year's event versus last year.
In the 3-year event, I kind of wanted to have different patterns, with the VeeFriend, it was really kind of like you get the conference and you get the collectible receipt as the VeeFriend or vice versa, depending on how one wanted to look at it. I knew that I wanted to do kind of like different stuff. So last year, it was just so obvious that education and deep Web3 was the right thing. We're still in the middle of the storm. People were still learning. So very heavy on the creators, very heavy on like education, minting and legal, and just very Web3. We needed to teach. We still need to teach for the next 5 years. But this year, because I knew there'd be so much overlap with the same people, you don't want to double up the same stuff. So I wanted to go much more broad, pop culture and business. Even looking out there right now, right? When you look at it, young Garyvee, that's pop culture. When you look next to him, Boss St. John, was the CMO of Netflix, the CMO of William Morris Endeavor. You're giving people different looks. Apple, Beats by Dre, so she's giving culture and business. I wanted to give them different stuff. Even the way I opened the conference today, usually I'm a high energy, let me go at it. I wanted to start with let me go into a calm kind of family business energy to ground it for those people. So I want to give people different looks, and I thought the best way I could do that was bring a little of the Fortune 500, Fortune 5000, and pop culture energy that I have around me, and that's what we're doing.
So there's a lot of speakers, a lot of panels to choose from. What are some of the key takeaways that you hope people attending VeeCon take back home with them to apply to their everyday life?
Whatever it was that they needed. I don't have a real agenda. My agenda is that it's valuable to people. So one of the reasons I pack it so heavy, and it's heavy, and this is got a lot of real speakers, is I want to give people the option to pick what they feel they need. I want to encourage them to do that. And so somebody might have just needed the ability to tell their mom that they're done with their mom being negative to them because they heard something from a motivational person. Somebody else might hear a small operational decision that the CEO of LVMH made that took him to that place, right? Scooter Braun might say something about his toughest challenge in the music industry, and there's people sitting there and they're having a challenge in their industry right now. And so just something is right, just something that they needed, and then I'm a pig in shit if that happens.
Gary, you talk a lot about intellectual property. I've got 3 kids, they love Pokemon, they can name hundreds of Pokemon, and now through this partnership with Macy's, Toys R Us, getting your characters out there, VeeFriends, they can name a bunch of VeeFriends characters as well. Tell me a little bit about that onboarding process for kids around the world.
First of all, the fact that even made me micro-emotional makes me say I am doing the right thing for me. It's very hard. You can't do anything for the world unless you're doing it for yourself first to give you the energy to give it for the world. It was weird to me that just made me feel the way that it just did. What does it feel like? It feels insane because I know what I know, which is this. I was blessed with a communication style that allows me to deliver messages at a scale that people will listen. Then I got super blessed with the best mom in the world and the best dad and the best DNA and just the best circumstances, which meant, thank God, unlike some people in the world, my agenda with this incredible talent is to do good instead of selfish bad. So that's a blessing. Then I know that Disney and Pokemon, and honestly, at first I used to say Disney and Pokemon, but for the people that listen to me do interviews or talk about VeeFriends, I talk now much more about Sesame Street. I actually now feel a little bit closer to Jim Henson than I do to, Walt Disney, because I feel like Jim Henson had an incredible obsession with putting good into the world, and I have that. And so I really think Patient Panda and Genuine Giraffe and Empathy Elephant and Ambitious Angel are gonna change people's lives.
So you just named a couple of VeeFriends. I've been asking some of your colleagues if they could name their favorite VeeFriend character. Since it's you, I'm gonna give you a chance, 5, because that's your number, Gary. Name your 5 favorite VeeFriends characters if you can.
Naming your 5 out of 283 favorite VeeFriends characters is like asking you which child is your favorite. But when I think about where I'm at right now, be the bigger person is very big for me. Competitive clown, I think we've demonized competition, and I think it's hurting us. It's making kids scared of losing, and I think I have to make competitive clown bigger, right? Grateful Gar. A gar is a fish that nobody knows, but obviously it has the first 3 letters of my name in it. And I've been thinking a lot about Grateful Gar. Gratitude Gorilla has a lot more pub right now, but I think the sea, like when I think about Little Mermaid, when I think about like, you know, like the snorks, like I think the sea is like a good canvas to do storytelling. And so lately I've been thinking a lot about my fish characters, and it's been making me think a lot about Grateful Gar, and like I think a lot about like the fish hook coming down, and like all these different fish get taken out of the sea, and Grateful Gar is just very grateful that they're still in the sea. And I got all sorts of thoughts. Anyway, I'll say that right now. The thoughtful 3-horned harpic is the harpic is the only character in the entire VeeFriends world that is a made-up character. All 282 other characters are things you know: a vampire, a dog, a cat. The harpic is a character I made up out of exhaustion of drawing the VeeFriends and needing a creative outlet. And then I put the word thoughtful on top of it. And I do think we struggle with thoughtfulness in society. I think we're headline reading, we're quick to judge. And I think taking even this collab song that I did with Snoop, take a step back. Like before you're rushing in and saying, I hate you, you supporting this, we're too fast. Take a step back, be thoughtful. So I said the harpic. And then finally I would say, God, it's really hard. I'm gonna say cynical cat. I need some bad guys. And I have a lot of compassion for cynical cat, because cynical cat's gonna be up to a lot of no good, but it comes from a place of hurt. And I'm excited about their fellow VeeFriends to help cynical cat out of its troubles.
Awesome. Gary, you've been talking a lot about artificial intelligence lately, obviously a hot topic. Talk about the role that AI is going to play in the blockchain and Web3 and some of the companies that you have.
It's the reverse. So I don't have any companies that I'm invested in yet. So I've been looking at a lot of stuff. I did some stuff 4 years ago, which was fake AI. The blockchain's gonna be the big factor for AI as deep fake videos come up. Right, when this video gets replicated, where I'm saying all different answers and saying racial slurs or inappropriate things, we're gonna need some way to know which one was real. The internet can't do that, but the blockchain can. And so when you put up this video on the blockchain and the provenance was proven, and then it goes out, now you got a different game. And so I think the blockchain's about to get its flowers because of the explosion of AI, and so I think that's where we're at.
You talk about accountability. So my question for you, Gary, is how can accountability change the world?
When people are not blaming the government, not blaming, their parents, and start asking themselves, what did I do? Then the world gets better. And so accountability has been completely eradicated from our society. Nobody points thumbs anymore. Everyone's great at fingers. She screwed up, he screwed up. This president, that president, this president, that president, this governor, that mayor, my mom, my dad, my siblings, my circumstances. I got screwed, I got fucked, my boss, my this, them, this, that. Nothing. What did you do? You married that person. Start there. Not one person should complain about their spouse. They made the call, right? You can work on it. You can be the one in the relationship and say, hey, we should go to therapy. You could make the toughest decision, say, I'm not gonna be in this relationship. There's a lot of things, but you are in control. And right now the world doesn't think that. The algorithm fucked me. AI is gonna fuck me. Trump, Biden, China, America, fuck you.
Gary, last question here. I asked you this one last year and you missed it by one win. 2023, we've got Aaron Rodgers now, New York Jets. What's your prediction for the record?
That prediction I gave you got a little pub when we were hot last year, and then the Jets finished cold. I know my team, and I'm gonna give you it right now. We're gonna be 11-6. We're gonna finally get back to the playoffs. The New York Jets are currently the North American franchise that has not been in the playoffs the longest. Every team in hockey, baseball, and basketball and football has been in the playoffs more recently than the New York Jets. That ends this year.
Awesome. Well, once again, Garyvee, founder of VeeFriends, live VeeCon 2023. Gary, thanks so much for your time.